Hello, kindred spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and together we are going to be looking at the cards and charms today to see and discover the rainbows and rainstorms on their way in for you as the seasons shift. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits. Lovely to see you all here in the energy of the readings today. And anyone new who may be joining us on the channel here today, I do pick a card readings, art magic, charm casting, and the like. So if that interests you for the Monday readings that I put out, definitely feel free to subscribe. But today's readings are specifically on the seasonal shifts that are happening both in the southern and northern hemisphere when it comes to the shift between winter and spring and summer and fall. So if you're feeling connected to those energies, and more specifically the spring ones, because I'm from the northern hemisphere, so I can't help but feel those energies coming forward, then definitely stay tuned as we look into the intricacies of that shift and this liminal space. But if you're interested in getting a more personal private reading, one that can be more condensed and more specific to your situation or any situation, question, or query that's on your mind, then definitely feel free and consider checking out the snail mail readings that are on both my Instagram and down below in the description, as well as helpful reviews and the like. On getting your own snail mail reading, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It's typewritten on a vintage typewriter and is wax sealed closed just for your eyes only. I put a lot of careful consideration, a lot of energy and time into really looking at the different symbols and messages that I receive from the cards just for you. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely feel free to check those out. It's a great way to support yourself in the channel. So thank you to anyone who has. There's also the Kindred tip jar, which everything that goes into that down below is going directly back into the channel for SD cards, for memory, for camera gear, but also for the decks and supplies that you see here today. So definitely feel free to check that all out down below, but we're going to go ahead and look at the piles. So for each of the piles here today, we have something that's rainbow. So here for pile number 1, there is this piece of rainbow moonstone. Not a lot of rainbows in this one. I kind of think if you get it in the perfect angle, you can see some rainbows happening here. Maybe we'll see if it shows up on camera. But regardless, there is some rainbows showing up in this one. So if you're feeling called to this would be pile number 1. Here for pile number 2, the rainbows are much more pronounced, but just as equally beautiful in each of them with this Ammonite piece. So if you're feeling called to this one, that is pile number 2. And then here, last but not least, for pile number 3 is, of course, a piece of Labradorite with all of these much more flashy rainbows showing up. So if you're feeling called to this one, that is pile number 3. So before you start heading to the timestamps, I like to invite you to take a deep, cleansing, intuitive breath here with me so you can really connect with your piles, connect with your own intuition and the like. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles. You can choose all 3 of them. You can take pieces from each. You can flip-flop and change your mind as much or as little as you'd like. There really are no rules here. And all of the timestamps will be down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And if you're interested in those snail mail readings or other different ways to support this channel and support this space and keep it running here, then definitely feel free to check that all out down below. But let's go ahead and start here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this piece of rainbow moonstone, then this is the pile for you to start looking into your spring season, how you might have a spring in your step, some spring refreshes when it comes to your rainstorms and rainbows. And I've done readings like this where sometimes a rainstorm is actually a really good thing, sometimes a rainbow can be, an illusion or other things. So we're going to talk about those specific cards in quite a lot of depth, but we're also going to look into the context of your current spring season, or if you're moving into fall in the southern hemisphere, how that might be shifting as well when it comes to a seasonal shift. So we're going to be doing that with the charms as well as several different decks here. Of course, I had to pull out the rainbowist deck that I have with the Song of the Grandmothers, which is perfect for transitionary times, and the crystal unicorn deck, which I haven't pulled out in a really long time. So I'll have these and everything else listed as always in the description down below, but feel free to get yourself settled, get cozy, get comfortable, get some water, get a little snack, whatever you need. And we are going to begin with pulling just 3 or more cards, if more come up, to see what the current context of this transitionary time between seasons is for you. So feel free to send your energy to really connect with the cards as I shuffle. And let's begin group 1. Current context for you when it comes to the coming weeks. So we have this says 8th, but they meant 8 of Swords here to start us off as sort of the central energy. But of course, we'll go ahead and pull those other 2 cards as well. So group 1, the next couple of weeks for you when it comes to this new season. You have the Hanged Unicorn as well. I really love the Hanged Man, the Hanged Unicorn, the Hanged One cards for their shift in perspective and the way that they can slow us down when it comes to these transitionary times. So I'm very curious to see how that might be manifesting in with the final card you have here. So group 1, the next few weeks for you, group 1, when it comes to this transitionary liminal space-time of the shift of seasons. I'm going to pull this one here. So, okay, you've got the Ace of Cups here. All right. So, you're ending off here with the Ace of Cups, a very strong card, one all about new beginnings, and you actually do have a little peek of a rainbow here. So we'll see if that specifically connects to your rainbow card as we move forward. But when I'm looking at these cards right off the bat, it's telling me there's a little bit of a resistance when it comes to this liminal time, maybe a resistance to moving into the springtime. Maybe you're feeling kind of like you want to stay in the previous season, or you're just not ready yet for the blooming that you might be feeling in this coming season, right? Spring has a lot to do with putting a spring in your step. Spring refreshes. It gives us, it starts in this airy season of like push, action. Let's do things. Let's get active. Let's make snowball effects, right? It's very much the do parts of the season. So when you're thinking about that, right, coming from a place of winter, specifically in the northern hemisphere, right, sometimes there can be a little bit of a pushback, right? We're not ready yet. We're still processing the previous year. We're still moving through emotions that we haven't fully taken in, discovered, or worked through. And so when we have this coming forward, especially with the Ace of Cups right next to it, which is all about new beginnings. It's all about feeling your feelings. It's all about really getting into the heart of that spring season, which is to really connect with your heart space and connect with your emotions and connect with being very mindful in the moment. This just can tell me that you're maybe feeling a bit of a resistance right now. The Hanged Unicorn is also giving us that resistance, because where the Hanged Unicorn could have been tied up by someone else or feeling tied up by an external situation that's making you maybe feel this way, it also can represent us tying ourselves up, telling ourselves, hey, maybe we need to look at this from a new perspective. Maybe spring itself is kind of tying you up into this new perspective, but you're just sort of having to hang there and be like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really know what's happening. I don't really know how to move forward or what that means even to move forward. And so there could be something showing up there as well for you. And I feel for you guys. I mean, this is sort of an energy I've also previously been kind of working through myself. So I do find it really interesting to see those parallels sometimes as a reader. But overall, that's sort of the main energies. But of course, we're going to look further by looking into your rainbow and Rainstorm card. So like I said at the beginning of the reading, and maybe it didn't really make a lot of sense, especially since this isn't something I've done before on the channel, I'm going to pull a card specifically for a Rainstorm card. And so when I think of spring rainstorms, right, they're very they can be, you know, a bit of a place of fear for those of you who maybe don't feel that relaxing feeling when it comes to a rainstorm, a thunderstorm. But there's also a bit of a relaxing feeling. There's also, when it comes to nature and the trees and the flowers and everything that needs to grow, right? It needs that sustenance. It needs that rain. It needs that refresh. So when I'm thinking of the rainstorm in this case, I'm wanting to see what that refresh is. What is this energy that's starting to spice things up this season for you? Refreshing something for you, adding a little bit of sustenance to your energy. So we're going to be seeing what brings that in. It may not always be the easiest thing, but it can be really beneficial. And then we'll look at the rainbow, which can be a sign of hope. It can talk about illusions, and it can also talk about, help when it comes to like spirit guides and others who you may work with on a more spiritual plane that might be coming forward to kind of give you a little bit of advice or help this season as well. So it could go a lot of different ways, and we're going to see how that kind of manifests for your pile. So let's start first, group 1, with your rainstorm. What is refreshing, rebalancing, gaining a bit of sustenance in your space? So I don't want to overwhelm us with too many cards, so I kind of am feeling this top card here. So we're going to go ahead and pull that one. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one back. So you have here the shield of Grandmother Jasper. So this is a crystal called jasper. I think I actually have a piece over here. This is some red jasper. So maybe I'll just leave that out for you all. But when it comes to the rainstorm, you have protection offered, energetic buffering while you recover. And then the number 25 here. 5's usually representing a change, and 2 representing working together with change. So this is a really good step to showcase that you're sort of buffering right now. That's a really great word to have show up here for that energetic buffering. That's kind of the period of time you are in right now. And this rainstorm is going to give you a bit of a refresh. It's going to give you a bit of that emotional reset that you maybe really need, without kind of overwhelming you. So because we are really taking it kind of chill today, we're not pulling a ton of cards, I'm going to go ahead and read from the guidebook specifically on this one, and then we'll pull you your rainbow card. So this is from the green suit, which in this case is the growth grandmothers. They teach us how to stretch our understanding and capacity for love through challenging experiences. So here we are, red jasper, number 25, showed up right off the bat. So I'll hold this up here in case you want to screenshot or read it yourself. But here we are, Grandmother Jasper shield. Again, this is your rainstorm card. It says, a cluster of tumbled stones gather, reminiscent of blood cells clotting at the site of a wound. The energy of Grandmother Jasper functions much the same. She teaches us how to shield ourselves from further injury while we repair underneath. Like a suit of armor given to knights before battle, Grandmother Jasper offers her blessing of love to safeguard you through whatever foray presents today. Most of us do not have the privilege of time, energy, and resources to pause all of the responsibilities and give undivided attention to whatever challenges or crises we are experiencing. Beyond that, we don't usually have a choice as to when difficulties arise. If you're feeling raw, yet have to face the daily demands of life anyway, call on Grandmother Jasper. It takes linear time to knit ourselves back together. That's understandable, but it sure can feel inconvenient. Grandmother Jasper aids us in activating an individual buffer in the meantime, which helps mitigate the interference with our healing process. She reminds us progress can continue in the background of whatever other tasks we are undertaking simultaneously. Further, don't forget to triage those tasks. Leave anything that's not critical for another day if you can. And this is specifically from the grandmother here. You're gonna be all right, baby. Try to believe me, okay? I'll help you cast the charm and take the edge off. Your job is to have courage, sidestep apathy, and do your best to carry on, whatever that looks like. As soon as you're able, surrender to rest. So this is a beautiful rainstorm card to have show up for you all, as it is, like they said, a shield, giving you some time to have that hanged one moment, to kind of step back a little bit, to hold back on something that you're currently still processing. So sometimes we're talking about actions in the real world, and the idea of our job, our career, trying to step forward, trying to move forward in life, always chasing something. But in this case, I feel like you're really getting the energy and sort of the go-ahead to sort of work through this situation, giving yourself the space, the time, the energy that you need, maybe away from other people, maybe processing through journaling, going to a therapy if that's something that's accessible for you, or just making space to heal or to grow when it comes to this situation right now. As for your rainbow card, we're going to see where you might be getting some energetic help or be getting some hope when it comes to this situation. So let's see. Group. Oh, cute. You even got a rainbow card. Group 1. So Grandmother Rain is showing up here, which is really funny because it's I kind of forgot that was in this deck. So here we are with Grandmother Rain at 29. So coming up after this card, which is kind of fun to see those fall into succession here. But it is acceptance. And it says here, allowing is key. Drip drops, anoint the feelings, flowing through the heart. So it's opening yourself back up again, accepting the situation that you've been in or have gone through, working through a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions. So a lot of what you're doing right now over these next few weeks feels much less about trying to get things done, but rather trying to just process emotions or difficult situations that you've had to step through recently. And that's hard work too. So I really love that you're getting this with a double rainbow on top of that. So let's go ahead and read this one as well. So this one is in the green suit. Again, the growth grandmothers, teaching us how to stretch our understanding and capacity for love through challenging experiences. And you have rain here. So let's read this one as well. As always, feel free to read it yourself if you'd like to. But I just think it's important sometimes to read the guidebook and to show you guys that guidebooks are not something to shy away from. They can be amazing resources. So let's go ahead and see what this one has to say. Grandmother Rain, acceptance. During the darkness of a summer storm, just enough sunlight finds its way through the clouds to form a double rainbow, further reflected through the prism-like drops of Grandmother Rain. When anxiety, worry, hurt, or other emotions flood our systems, it can be difficult to find a solution or see the positive. This might provoke more distress, for fear we're failing somehow, but that simply isn't true. Grandmother Rain's wisdom comes to you today in a pitter-patter, splish-splash, tippity-tap, plonk-plonk cascade of love. Does it feel too hard to wash away confusion or self-judgment right now? That's okay, no problem. Acknowledge your current state of mind for what it is, then simply close your eyes and listen to the rain. Shutting down your perception of fog does not mean that you are unequal to face it. You just need a break. You don't need to be anyone but yourself, just as you are, right in this exact moment. When you can, consider taking a nap or meditating with a rain track playing in the background. You might be surprised at what feels clearer afterwards. And then again, this is specifically from Grandmother Rain. Hello, my darling love. I've learned it's best to let my feelings flow through and out. I know it might be challenging for you to accept that allowing is the answer for flowing through this moment. Try for me, won't you? You won't be swept away. You might like to visit Grandmother Bluebell for a tonic of hope too, and that's a specific card in this deck. It says, allowing is key, drip drops anoint the feelings, flowing through your heart. Wow. Sometimes I reread through these for these videos, and I'm just reminded of just the wealth of information this deck gives off. So I'm really loving the cards that you have coming forward. I hope that just reading through those have kind of given you some more about your situation already, but like I said, I'm just really loving that you've got the rainbows coming in here, but just a reminder that it's okay. Like in almost every card you've had here, it's okay to take a break. You're being reminded that it's okay. It's actually really good and beneficial for you at this time. So I want to go ahead and pull some charms here in a moment, but we're going to go ahead and just pull a couple of these, as I haven't actually used these in a long time. I did do a whole video about how you can make these yourself if you'd like, but we're going to pull a couple of little affirmations or cards here. So group 1, the next few weeks. Okay, so I love this. Here on Grandmother Jasper, you got keep life simple. Simple, simple, simple is key for you right now. Here on the 8 of Swords, all about kind of holding yourself back on purpose. It almost feels like you're kind of taking the reins here. You have I'm resilient, which I really love that, especially with the challenges that you've possibly been facing recently, that you are processing. And then here on that allowing is key, you have growth has to begin somewhere. But what I like about this is it shows a lot of slow growth with these tree rings. So it's all about taking things slow and taking the time that you need between each season, right, to buffer. So those are the cards so far, but of course I want to look a little bit further to finish off your reading with the bits and bobs here. So do feel free to send your energy in and we'll pull you some charms. So group 1, Rain and Rainbow. So I'll go ahead and zoom you in so you can have a little look here. You have a few different charms showing up here. One that showcases the unknown of a situation. Whenever I see this one, it makes me think of like a black hole, an unknown, not knowing all of the situation that you have going on right now. But in this case, it makes me feel like where things felt unknown, or maybe what the challenges that you're facing right now, especially with that I'm resilient card feeling kind of similar, it's making me think that what you're shielding yourself from right now is the unknown, or is, the unknown of change. So that's something to consider when it comes to your situation. You also have here the little bird here, which I think it's interesting that I pushed that out of the way because it showcased that little rainbow. But you have this bird here, and what I like about this bird is it's taking its time, right? If you think of this as a bird who's just starting to learn how to spread their wings and fly, right? They usually see this as hesitation, right? They're hesitating on a branch. They're not necessarily making the steps to move forward. But because of everything you've had come up in your reading, it's making me think that it's really good, and it's actually been very beneficial and quite a wise and mature thing for you to do, is to step back before jumping forward or impulsively moving through an emotion that or moving into a situation that you haven't fully processed yet. More about context of what you've been processing, you have here thou shalt not steal. I always think of this as like someone stealing, stealing your joy, or stealing, raining on your parade or something like that. So when I see this show up here too, that might give you some context about what this is, this challenge that you might be facing if you don't already know. And then you have the cat bat here, which tells me of putting two things together or your imagination. This one's giving me like escapism, like when you read a book or get into fantasy or watch a movie of a fantasy movie. A lot of people escape into that because they're working through or processing their emotions, needing a little bit of time, giving themselves a safe space to go to, and that it seems that that's going to be really beneficial for you too when it moves through the ideas of acceptance. And then you also have here the charm that I always think of like guides or spirit guides working in your favor in the background, like they're trying to help a goal or to help you through the situation one step at a time, but you may not see it. It's very subtle, but helping you try to get to a goal. So that's really cool. It definitely feels like they're supporting you in some way. And then you also got this charm right on the grandmother ring here. This is specifically a like little topper to like an asthma drug thing, or asthma medicine. So whenever I see this, it's helping someone to breathe or helping someone to open up their chest or to open something up in that way. And so when I think of this one, it's making me think that slowly this acceptance and moving through, giving yourself this space to process your emotions with this challenging situation is going to give you a lot more space in your chest, a lot more of an ability to kind of breathe again and feel much lighter. So that's really beautiful to see as well. But overall, those are all of the charms and cards that you have here for your pile group 1. I do hope that this has been useful to you, especially for a video that I've never really done this kind of reading on this channel before. So I'd love to hear your feedback if you'd like to see more seasonal related pick a card readings, if you'd like to see things like that. I love to work with the seasons, so I would love to do that for you. And like I said, if you did enjoy this reading, do give this video a like, and feel free to subscribe as I put out new videos every single Monday for pick a card readings mostly, but I also like to sprinkle in some educational videos, some videos on my art grimoire and the like, so do feel free to subscribe. And if you're interested in getting your own private personal reading that I send to you in the mail, it's typewritten on a vintage typewriter and is wax sealed closed just for you, then definitely feel free to check out these snail mail readings that I have, as well as I do digital and DM'd readings as well too, if you want a reduced price, but they're just as good. So with that all said, thank you so much for hanging out here with me today, and I'm wishing you the best through this situation. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2, if you've decided to choose this piece of Ammonite with all these little rainbows on the shell, then this is the pile for you. We're going to go ahead and set this here for you so you can see it during your reading, as we are going to be really exploring this liminal space between winter and spring, or for those in the the southern hemisphere, possibly between fall and summer, and that switch between those two. As whenever we swap between seasons, it can also give us quite a lot of boost, right? If you think of spring cleaning, if you think of these refreshes that we feel, right? We're also moving into the season of Aries season, so we are pushing forward, action steps, lots of snowball effects, and a lot of blooming that's happening under the surface. So we're going to be seeing how that's coming forward when it comes to your Rainstorm and Rainbow cards, which I'm very excited to implement in this reading here today. But we're going to be doing that with the charms, as well as, of course, one of the most rainbowy decks that I have, the Song of the Grandmothers, and the Crystal Unicorns, which I haven't pulled out in a while, but I love their soft pastels, which I thought was perfect for this. So I'll have all of this listed in the description down below in case you're curious. But as always, feel free to get yourself settled, get yourself cozy here, and we're going to look first into 3 or more cards to see what's kind of going on for you right now, in the current context of right now, over these next few weeks, or how you're feeling right now. We're going to just see what that's looking like, so that when we pull the rest of the cards, we have a little bit more context to work with. So let's start with those first. So current context, and as always, do feel free to meditate on the cards, pause if you want to, connect as deeply or as surface level as you'd like. But it does really make a difference. So we already have here, straight off the bat, the Ace of Pentacles coming out with a rainbow, of course. So here we are. The Ace of Pentacles has a lot to do with, sorry, I'm getting distracted by these little flowers. I don't think I've ever really noticed them in this deck today. I haven't really used this deck in a while, but I haven't really ever noticed them in this specific card. And they really remind me of little snowdrops, which have a lot to do with that spring energy coming in and kind of hope. They're a very hopeful flower. So anyways, the point is, though, you did get the Ace of Pentacles here, and it feels like a very hopeful time for you. Rainbows are also an opportunity for us to really see the hope in the world around us. So I'm going to put back the other cards and see what else comes forward to give us even more context. So group 2. You also have the moon showing up here. Very big circles showing up in this, that they feel very much connected, these two cards. So we have the moon. The moon has a lot to do with a lot of things, right? A lot of people see it as moving through certain phases, especially since we're moving from one season to the next. This is making me feel like you're moving from one phase of life to the next, maybe a bigger life stage or life phase that you're going through, a bigger cycle that you're working through, and maybe having a few unknowns about that. The moon can also showcase, if you think of like a night on a full moon, right? It can feel a little eerie outside sometimes with all of the different shadows that emerge. And so you can also see that in this, with this wolf and this dog being illuminated, right? The dog sees their wild wolf self. So that adds a little bit more of a layer towards the context here. But I want to get one more so we can really see the full picture. And then you have the Three of Pentacles. So something that might feel a little bit unknown for you is the building steps, the foundations to be built, and how and who and how you might be doing this, right? In this case, you can see 3 different little unicorns collaborating to build this little chapel or this place. And they're trying to work together. One of them's holding the diagram. One of them's got, someone's directing, someone's actually working. And like, there's this whole little community system that's happening here of collaboration. And so when I'm looking at this, because you have these specific cards, it's telling me that right now, when it comes to a project, because the Ace of Pentacles can talk about not only that hopeful feeling, but the Ace of Pentacles talks about, and every ace really in the deck talks about new beginnings, a new project that you might be starting on. And this, because it is in the Pentacle suit, which is all about our earthly pursuits and the earth signs, this is giving off more of like potential for projects when it comes to, helping your finances, helping passion projects come forward, working on more sensible goals and ideas that we might be forming. So this could be like working on the house. This could be a project that you're working on at work. This could be collaborating with coworkers. This could be about trying to work to be more financially stable. This could be a lot of those different more businessy, financial, career-driven things. But like I said, it can also do with your home, your house, your physical, tangible things that you own, right? So this is sort of what we have coming forward, and this is like a goal that you're feeling very hopeful about, something you're feeling very like, yes, let's get this done. Let's work on this thing. I really want to get my hands dirty and in it. But you have a lot of unknowns about the project. You're not necessarily sure what the next phase is or what the next step is or who do I need to contact? Who do I need to be working with? Because you have the Three of Pentacles here, and the Three of Pentacles, again, is collaborating with someone, working with someone, or trying to work with multiple parts of yourself even, and kind of wrangling those together. So that's the context of the situation going on right now. You're feeling quite hopeful though, for sure. That's coming forward a lot. And even with this moon card, sometimes the moon card can feel, like I said, kind of a little nervous, a little scary, can show us our fears, our wild side. But in this case, it feels really calm. It feels really chill. And so it's like, there's going to be unknowns. You don't know everything. But it doesn't feel like you're like pushing away from that or thinking, oh, just because I don't know this doesn't mean that it's going to be a roadblock for you. So interesting ones to have come forward. So we're going to move forward to look at your rainbows and rainstorm cards. So some of us might see that the rainstorm is the more negative one, when the rainbow would be the positive, but it's not always that simple, of course. So when I think of the rainstorm, I think of it as more of if you think of the first rainstorm in spring, right? The very first thunderstorm, rainstorm, and you can smell the smell of petrichor afterwards, and the smell of, you can almost feel the grass growing right beneath your feet because of the nutrients and the refresh that beautiful rain kind of provides. So when we're thinking of this is like a challenge that's going to provide you a lot of sustenance and a lot of opportunity moving forward. And then the rainbow is usually about more of your spirit team kind of working with you on that. And on top of that, it can also be just a beacon of hope. So we're going to see both of those cards coming forward. Neither one is negative nor positive. It's more neutral. So we're going to see first your rainstorm card. Group. Ooh. Sometimes this happens where I'm not sure if I should take both, but I think I'm going to take the top one here. Yeah. And I think I'm going to just take the other one as your rainbow card. You know what? That feels right. So that's actually what I'm going to do. So let's see what each of these are. So first off, you got, of course, Grandmother Unknown of the Grandmother Raven. And it says here, the number 39 for the card, with mysterious void, reveals its heart to seekers willing to enter. Ooh, lots of that mysterious illusionary energy coming forward for your pile. So that's your rainstorm, right? This is an opportunity that's coming forward for you. That's going to be a bit of a challenge, but it's a challenge that is going to help you in the long run. It's something that's going to be quite beneficial to you. And then here with 41, I love that the cards are coming forward. This happened in pile 1 as well, but it starts with the smaller number and moves to the larger. But you have the number 41 here with the Grandmother Spider with creativity. And this is a really good, helpful spider. It says, permission to make, spin your threads, your web create, everywhere you go. Ooh, that felt like a spell. That was great. So we're gonna explore these one by one because we have a little bit of time today. Why not? And I absolutely love this guidebook by Kara Simmons. She's amazing. She has a book coming out. Definitely check it out. Not sponsored, just love it. But we're going to look into... Sorry, I got something in my throat. But we're going to look into each of these one by one because I like to remind you guys that, especially if you guys aren't new to tarot or new to reading for yourself, use and take advantage of these guidebooks, right? They were made for a reason and they were made specific to that deck. So definitely feel free to check them out. There's a wealth of information in these. But for this one with the Grandmother Raven Unknown, this is one of the purple possibility grandmothers, which help us embrace portals of opportunity and expansion that open as we integrate lessons. Sounds about right, right? And funnily enough, I just realized that you also have Spider in this one as well. So both of them are a part of this possibility suit. So lots of possibilities for you. So I'm going to go ahead and hold this up here so you can read it yourself if you'd like to, but we're going to read it together because why not? Let's get all of the sustenance that comes from these lessons. So here we are, 39, Grandmother Raven Unknown. The grand mysterious beacon seemingly just beyond the reach of consciousness, there is always more to know. Grandmother Raven hovers, waiting. Her presence confirms you are butting into the current boundary of your understanding. This might feel uncomfortable, heartbreaking, confusing, chaotic, and even terrifying. You might feel as though your back is up against the wall, or in your case, it seems like you're feeling kind of excited, honestly. When you reach this point, try turning around. After all, what else can you do? Activate your inner senses and see the wall through Grandmother Raven's eyes. Watch it dissolve into the blackness of an endless sky that holds within all the colors of the rainbow. You might not feel like a congratulations are in order, but know this. You are here because you have outgrown your present understanding or perception of reality. You are graduating, transitioning, evolving. Infinite opportunities await. You can follow the magical trail of any color you want, but it may feel as though you are flying blind for a while. Will you allow Grandmother Raven to show you the way through this dark night? Although she extends the invitation with love, she will never force anyone into the abyss. She probably won't even try to convince you to follow her. The choice is yours, and yours alone. And then it says specifically just from Grandmother Raven here, when you're ready, open your heart and mind to the ultimate trust exercise and fall into the void. Your most expansive consciousness will catch you and teach you to soar into a new world, there to learn until you are ready for the next transition, and the next and the next. Mysterious void reveals its heart to seekers, willing to enter. Ooh. So like I said, I kind of felt like you were giving off this feeling like you were quite excited about the fact that you don't know everything, which isn't always everyone's feeling. So this might not be everyone, and you might be feeling more of what the guidebook was saying, but I was just instinctively and intuitively getting this feeling that you were kind of more excited to get into the wild unknown that is not knowing what is next, what is on the next corner, what is up the next hill, what is on the next side. And that if anything, that's kind of exciting for you. Maybe you've been kind of stuck in a same thing over and over and over and over and over and over kind of situation. So maybe it's nice to have this change up coming forward, or to have this opportunity to take on something new, a new project, a new job or skill, whatever it might be. It seems that you're really taking advantage of it and working towards and with other people to make it happen. So that's really good. This is the refresh energy. But here on the other side with the rainbow, something very hopeful and lifting you up is your creativity with Grandmother Spider. And of course, we're going to read on Grandmother Spider as well. So number 41, Grandmother Spider here with this beautiful rainbow behind them. Grandmother Spider, creativity. Oh, I forgot to show you all. Here you are if you want to see it yourself. But yeah, Grandmother Spider, creativity. Drops of dew bead Grandmother Spider's web as if to highlight the many worlds of potent creativity and possibility that exist in tandem with the gossamer strands of her craft. The space she occupies is bold and fertile, with rich color available for her to draw on. Creation is life. It is the how of our existence and the vital force running through our veins. Grandmother Spider knows its secrets. While she is home in resplendent gardens, she also blesses the humblest of places with her webs, from window ledges to rundown fences to that bathroom corner behind your toilet. Recognize within yourself the same impetus to create wherever you are. This is your birthright. Own it unreservedly. Set aside any fears or doubts about your capability. It does not matter whether others understand, value, or even witness your creation. Weaving your web is an act of faith that you have the right to exist in the world. Know, too, that you decide which connections to draw on or to sever ties with. Call on the timeless industry of Grandmother Spider to help you spin your thread and build the world you wish to live in. Her head and body are symbolic of the infinite sign to remind us that the possibilities are endless. And this is specific from Grandmother Spider as well. Come, weave with me, child. You know all the words and melodies and pictures by heart. Unlock the vault inside you and let them out. Permission to make, spin your threads, your web create, everywhere you go. So what really struck me specifically from this was not only that creativity is going to be a really good asset for you and something that you should really lean in and can be a beacon of hope for you, or a beacon of creative power for you, but also when it said here, know too that you decide which connections to draw on or to sever ties with. So this is telling me too that there could be people who maybe what's a bit unknown for you is that maybe you're wanting to make something happen, you're trying to take action forward, but you're realizing that the people that you've been working with, that have been supporting you, working with you, helping, like in terms of coworkers, family members, project collaborators, or whomever it might be, maybe you're having to kind of recognize that you don't know all of that much about them, or you don't know if these are connections that are useful to you anymore. And that could be a very difficult thing for you to have to navigate right now. But because this is your rainbow card, this is telling me that this is something definitely to lean into, and definitely a question to ask yourself moving forward. So this is starting to get a little bit longer than I was planning. So I want to go ahead and pull you some charms here in a moment, but I also want to pull you a few of these little affirmations, these watercolor affirmations. I have a whole video on how to create these if you want to make them yourself, but we're going to pull a few of them for you today. I haven't pulled them in a while, so it's been really fun. Let's pull one more here. Group 2. one more and I get like a billion. So I'll just take the ones that came upright. Okay, so first off, on your unknown, you got believe in yourself as the very first one. And then you also have, as your second one, you already know the answer when it comes to the web. So this is, like I said, that web of connections, the people you're collaborating with or who are helping you with the projects that you're trying to get off the ground. So you might already have an intuition, an intuitive feeling towards these people and what you want to do, but it definitely is going to be more complex than you were expecting. To try to work through and filter that, because you do have the two sides to every coin showing up here, which means, there's literally two sides to every coin, and that, as exciting as it might be to work with someone, it might not be the right time. You also have pause in the stillness right next to life keeps on turning too. So this is just telling me as well that maybe this is going to be a very fast-paced time in your life as well, and that these unknowns are going to keep churning in and out and in and out, and it's not going to be just one wave or one unknown that you have to figure out, but like 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. But try not to get too far ahead of yourself, and just take them one at a time. So, of course, we're going to finish off, though, with the charms. We're going to pull a few of these to get those last little personal details, so feel free to send your energy in, and let's pull some charms, group 2. Okay, so let's see what you got here. So we're getting a lot to do with that partnership feeling with you already know the answer when it comes to who you might be working with, whether this is a positive thing, whether it means you need to cut ties with someone, whether you need to go a different direction with someone. But regardless, you have the partnership charm of the dolphins, which represent, partnership, working together, can even represent a relationship, in terms of like a romantic relationship. You also have here quite a few falling straight in the center, so sometimes that's just how the charms fall. But you have a little cluster here. They're all connected. I don't know if you noticed this. But you have the charm that I always think of as taking the road less traveled. So this is taking the road less traveled, and this is taking the road more traveled. People have done this before. So when it comes to the unknowns, it's telling me that there are people out there who already know and have a lot of expertise in the things that you're feeling maybe insecure, unknown about, because this is the insecure charm, or in this case, it kind of feels like things that you're quite unknown about, but someone else has like all of the resources, right? They have all the eggs in their basket. They have the skills. So someone has already walked this path that you can get a lot of inspiration from, get a lot of wisdom from, at this time. And then here on the dog, you have the Queen of Wands key. Whenever I see this, it makes me think of the Queen of Wands for some reason. So this tells me that whenever I see a key, it represents being able to open yourself up to knowledge. And in this case, it's opening yourself up to the confidence that you might be feeling. The dog can represent someone who's quite loyal, someone you can really count and trust on. That could be the key to helping you through this right now. You also have the refreshing peppermint little candy cane here, so whenever I see this, it represents a refresh of some sort or something that feels very minty fresh. So this new project's going to give you a lot of that. And then you also have the little tiny key to your heart charm. So this is also opening, this project's going to be quite a passion project. That's definitely the feeling that I've been getting here as well. It's something that not only it's going to help you financially or to help you with your house or to help you with whatever those earthly goods and resources are, but it's also going to just let you open your heart to something too. It's going to be quite personal. So we have that showing up as well for you. So overall, those are all of the cards and charms that I have here for you for your coming spring or fall season. I do hope that this has been useful to you. I do hope that it gave you a little bit of a jumping off point or just got you thinking about your current situation a little bit differently, or from a new perspective. So I hope that this has been useful, and if it was, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know with some feedback or thoughts in the comments, as I would love to do more seasonal related readings and would like to hear your thoughts. thoughts. Also, if you like pick a card readings, if you like educational videos on charm casting or art magic, then definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out mostly pick a card readings, but I do sprinkle in the others as well, and they come out every Monday. All the information to check out the Kindred tip jar is down below in case you want to send in a little something to help out the channel. Everything that goes into the tip jar goes right back into the channel for different decks, supplies, to get memory cards and other things, so really do appreciate that. And if you want to support the channel even further, as well as support yourself through a snail mail reading, then definitely feel free to check out all the information, helpful reviews, and things like that down below, as well as on my Instagram. Where I send a letter to you in the mail. It's typewritten on a vintage typewriter from the 1970s. It's wax sealed closed, specifically for your eyes only, and it's on any question or query that's on your mind right now, whether that's through career, whether that's with a relationship in your life, love, or even a more spiritual relationship, then definitely feel free to check all that out down below. But I'm going to go ahead and close this off. Thank you so much for hanging out here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you decide to choose this piece of Labradorite, then this is the pile for you to look into your spring season or fall season if you're in the southern hemisphere, as we move from one season into the other, right? As we've now moved into a new season. You're currently in this very transitional time. We're all in this very transitional time when it comes to that switch up. And so I want to see in this liminal space where you might be changing things up, what energies might be coming forward, and in this specific reading we're going to look into the context of the rainstorms and rainbows coming in for you. So we're going to talk about those individually as we get farther into the reading, but we are going to be using the charms as well as the watercolor affirmations, pulling those out here today, and we're going to be using the crystal unicorn deck as well as the rainbowiest deck that I have, which is the Song of the Grandmothers Oracle. So all of this will be listed down below in case you're curious. So as always, do feel free to get yourself settled, get cozy, get comfy. But we're going to pull a few cards to just look into the current context of the situation that you're in right now. So where you're kind of priming the new season in, what energies are coming forward right now for you. So we can really look at the rest of the reading from that lens. So let's see. As always, feel free to send your energy in, meditate on the cards if you wish. First off, you have the King of Swords coming forward, which I love this king specifically, and in the Rider-Waite-Smith, there's always these little butterflies showing up behind the king, and I always see them as an opportunity for transformation, especially in the king's position. Because if you think of like the queen and the king and the jack, and if you know like tarot, right, with like the page and everything, this is the most experienced of their suit. The king is the most experienced. They know the most about the energy of the suit, and in this case the suit of swords is about our mind. It represents our thoughts and our communication styles and the ways that we use our words, and to the ways that we even use our body to communicate. And this is showcasing that they're a really amazing communicator. They think they know everything, but what I love is that this door behind them is sort of an opportunity to open themselves up to realize that maybe they don't know everything, that maybe sometimes we have to become the master, the most skilled person, and then realize that, wait, maybe I actually don't know everything, and have to start from the bottom up again. And so I feel like you're maybe in this transitionary time right now where you're realizing that maybe you thought you knew how to communicate with someone, maybe you thought you were communicating really well, maybe you thought you were writing really well, maybe you thought you were at this expert level, but you're realizing that there's so much more to learn, that there's so much more you can continue to expand upon, and that there's, we're always learners in life, right? We're always trying to experience new things and trying to continue to grow our skills. And so in this case, that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting from this King of Swords. So I want to see anything else that might be coming forward for you. You also have the Wheel of Fortune, which is just kind of a reminder that you're definitely in sync with the seasons right now, because the Wheel of Fortune represents time, right? It's kind of a card showcasing, the wheel of time, the wheel of the year, or the idea that like what comes up must come down as well. So not only time, but the energy that time can bring. So right now you also are turning this wheel upside down, and the idea that you're flipping this card from expert to learning once again. So maybe some of you as well are doing more drastic big things in your life when it comes to maybe changing jobs or careers, and you're realizing there's new skill sets that you have to learn. It could also be that technology is changing and you're realizing that you have to keep evolving your skills. The King of Swords can also be talking about like going back to school again, or apprenticeships, or learning again right from the ground up, kind of relearning or rehashing your skills in something, whether it's communication, whether it's in writing, whether it's in some other studious way. But that's kind of the idea that we have coming forward. Anything else for group 3 here? Definitely feel free to connect with the cards. So you have also the Queen of Swords. So not only do you have the King, but you also have the Queen. Also, we always say that the King is the top expert in the deck, but let's be honest, the Queens are really up there as well. And the Queen of Swords, where I feel like the King kind of is more of the studious, more kind of removed figure, the Queen feels more of a connection to what they're learning and applying what they're learning. So I feel like there's this application to what you're learning right now. We're not really getting a ton of context here, right? This is just saying the wheel of the year is changing. There's something that is shifting when it comes to the fact that you're moving from one season to the next. And what is shifting here is just really your mindset when it comes to the knowledge that you have. Otherwise, if you don't feel like you're turning this wheel upside down, it can also just be that right now is a great time for you to prime and work on your skills, or to really apply your skills. Right? We can learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and watch every YouTube video, go to college, we can take every course, we can do all of these things, but if we're not applying our learning, if we're not actually using it to further our everyday, right, sometimes we can lose those skills. So that can also be talking about something around that as well. So we're going to move to your Rainstorm and Rainbow card. And so sometimes, right, when I was starting this reading, I was even thinking of it this way, where I was like, the Rainstorm is like the challenge and the rainbow is the hope, right? The very traditional way of looking at it. But if you think about spring specifically, the first spring rainstorm is actually super transformative to the land. You can almost just feel the earth growing beneath your feet because it has been cleansed. It has all of this energy and water and resources now because of, and has been like fertilized because of this rain. So it's giving us this beautiful priming restart. So when I'm looking at your rain card and Rainstorm card, I'm thinking of it as something that is a really beautiful refresh. It might be a bit of a challenge for you, but it's going to give you so much and benefit you so much in the long term by moving through this challenge. Where the rainbow card feels like a beacon of hope. Sometimes that hope can be a bit of an illusion, but it can also be hope and assistance coming from an outside source, such as a spirit guide, spirit team, people in your life who support you, that sort of thing. So hopefully that all makes sense, and I'll explain them more specifically with each card. And you can also just take them from face value with what comes up. So we're going to see first your Rainstorm card, an opportunity or challenge coming in that's really going to give you that refresh this season, or to really benefit you long term. So group, I've been feeling like the first card that comes out for you guys, so I'm just going to take it. And in this case, you got Grandmother Iguana, which I don't really get this one much very, very often, so I'm very curious to see, because we're going to read on the guidebook for each of these. But you have the number 60 here. It says, Grandmother Iguana, separation. Nothing truly lost. Separation serves you now. Grow back what you need. Ooh, you know what this is making me think of? I can only think of it from an artist's point of view, because I have trained in art, but it kind of reminds me of when artists learn about anatomy and they learn how to draw really, 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 really realistically, right? They learn all of the most expert level things, and then they take those expert level things and they work back to how a child would draw, right? It's almost like they have to work up to expert level to work back to find their style. And so this is kind of the feeling that I'm getting here. It's almost like you've learned and learned and learned and learned and learned, and now you're, through applying this knowledge, through the challenge of applying the knowledge, you're realizing what you didn't need anymore, what wasn't really that beneficial to you, and really not learning to expand on your skills, but rather refine your skills. And that's what I'm really getting here from this separation one. Otherwise, it could be related to something that didn't show up in the context, and feel free to use your own intuition as we move through these. But that's your Rainstorm card, which we'll talk about more in a moment. But let's see your Rainbow card, right? So this is hope. This is support being shown coming forward. I don't know, I'm not feeling that card, so I'm going to just see what comes forward. Okay, and so for you, you got Grandmother Peppermint here with rest, aromatic lift, expand your inside senses, inhale, exhale, love. And you have it with the number 4 here. So very interesting cards to get together. I already was feeling this reset for you when it came to your skills, but also the idea of just resetting the season, the season itself, just switching to the season of spring or switching to the season of fall is just giving you such a boost, such a refresh, such a, like, literally the smells, the textures, the feelings of that's in the air is going to be really beneficial to you when it comes to giving you hope or giving you excitement, to just sort of really pepping you up is what I'm really feeling here. So we're going to start out with the guidebook, because I like to remind you guys, first off, I love this guidebook by Kara Simmons. She has a book coming out, not sponsored, but definitely check it out, because her writing in just the guidebooks alone are amazing. I had to pull out the guidebook and look at it for you all today. But on top of that, I'd just like to remind you guys, if you are new to tarot, new to reading for yourself, that definitely use the guidebook. They're amazing resources, and I feel like there's such a weird stigma about using them. So definitely feel free to use them. We're going to be using them here today. So it says here for Iguana, for Grandmother Iguana, it is a destruction grandmother who supports us in accepting natural forces of change with less fear and more trust. So let's see. Iguana here should be towards here. So I'll hold this up so you can read it yourself if you'd like to, but we're going to read it together here. So here we are. Grandmother Iguana. Separation. So it says here, Grandmother Iguana guards her vantage point, clinging fast to the tree trunk she's claimed for support and practically daring anyone to try to cross her. She is no less fierce for the loss of her tail. Regeneration may be the name of her game, but the first step Grandmother Iguana counsels, separation. She teaches us to make a clean break whenever called for, even if it's only temporary. As a defense mechanism, she is able to detach her tail in order to distract predators. Later, she'll simply grow it back. How does this symbolism apply to you today? If you feel defensive in or threatened by your relationships with people, ideas, or habits, you might borrow Grandmother Iguana's approach. Would stepping away entirely offer the distance you crave for reflection, protection, or time to establish boundaries? It doesn't necessarily mean forever. If absence makes your heart grow fonder, recreate the relationship on healthier, more symbolic terms. If not, hold firm to the separation you've instigated, and instead use your energy to cultivate something new. And this is specifically from Grandmother Iguana here. On a cosmic scale, loss is impermanent. Focus on what you gain from walking away right now. Let that be your guide and conviction, or until you feel a pull inside you to try again. Nothing truly lost. Separation serves you. Now, grow back what you need. So, really interesting to have this one coming forward. It feels like you're separating yourself from maybe this possible perfectionism that you're having, maybe an unhealthy or unrealistic point of view of your skill set, something being skewed there. But also just the idea of separating yourself from maybe something else unrelated to what showed up in the context here. Because you do have this king and queen, this can represent a relationship, and the fact that they're looking away from each other, and they're also, the sword being their communication, they're not really talking to each other. This is giving me this feeling too that this could be a reset needed, or a space or separation, or a little bit of time to better understand where you're coming from, where someone else is coming from, getting back on the same page with someone. That might be showing up here as well. So that's the challenge that's going to be a beneficial opportunity for you in the long run, or a challenge that's going to benefit you in the long run. So let's see your rainbow here with reset. And this one is specifically in the self-love pink suit of the self-love grandmothers who help us start new cycles of development by stepping out of judgment and into compassion. I love this picture here as well. So we're going to see how you're stepping out of judgment and into compassion, especially, like I said, if there is that relationship. This doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, by the way, but just any relationship in your life where that communication is sort of lost right now or separation is needed. But you do have reset showing up here with the grandmother peppermint. So let's have a little look here. So it says here, Grandmother Peppermint, reset. This cluster of grandmother peppermint's leaves appears up close, as though lifted by hands to nose for a deep breath of minty freshness. Imagine yourself rubbing the fuzzy green softness to release the unmistakable scent on your fingers, there to linger long afterward. Chances are you need self-care in some form of some kind of refreshment. When you're not sure what to do, Grandmother Peppermint's apothecary has just the thing to soothe your ache, calm your stomach, heal your heart, clear your mind, ease your fear, or brighten your spirits. Spend time with her in meditation. Drink her tea, use her essential oils, or even take pleasure in your favorite mint candy. Feeling her invigorating boost in body, mind, and soul, and carry on with renewed vigor. Always a team player, Grandmother Peppermint offers to revitalize the themes of any grandmothers who are visiting you today, which in this case you have separation. And it says, specifically from Grandmother Peppermint here, let's take some deep breaths together, sweetheart. Close your eyes and place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Ready? Imagine that the air holds currents of love. It does in truth, and I'm the one to help you smell it. With each inhale, let the love in. On the exhale, let it out. That's it. You've got it. Don't stop now, just keep on expanding your capacity for love. I'm leaving you now with a kiss, but I'll just be in the kitchen anytime you need a reminder. Aromatic lift, expand your inside senses. Inhale and exhale, love. So the fact that this is talking so much about self-love and really connecting with yourself and taking some time to be, more compassionate to yourself and someone else to create this reset is really coming forward. So I feel like this reset is going to be very beneficial to the both of you if this is a relationship, if it's moving away from also the skills that you're learning, taking a bit of a step back or a bit of a break there at the start of this new season. That's totally okay too. That's been coming up in multiple different piles as well, and multiple different readings that I've been doing for others. So it's okay if you're not ready yet to step into the spring energy, or you need a little bit of a reset first to start things off, because that's coming forward. But we're going to finish off with the charms here in a moment, but I do want to pull a couple watercolor affirmations. I have an entire video on how you can create these yourself with some art magic if you're interested. I'm sure I'll have it listed down below. But let's see. I haven't pulled these in a while, so I'm having a lot of fun pulling them for you all today. Let me know if you'd like to see them more often. But let's pull a couple more here. So the one that came up first here with Grandmother Reset is laughter is the best medicine. So maybe taking things a little bit lighter with someone, moving to lighter topics, maybe, kind of not pressing anyone's buttons at the start when it comes to that. Otherwise, just laughter in general could be very beneficial to you when it comes to that reset feeling. You also have Shoot for the Stars showing up here with the Queen of Swords, which there's an entire open sky here with one little bird, which is giving me that feeling too, that after you've maybe gotten a little bit of time away to understand, find compassion with this other person, or find compassion to yourself. It could also be to shoot your shot in some way. There also is Embrace Your Feelings showing up here. between both separation and reset, and then study and learn. So there definitely is that learning element showing up here, and then it's on this tree trunk as well. But that learning element that I was talking about at the beginning of the reading is coming forward here again. But let's look even further with the charms. So do feel free to send your energy in, and we'll pull some charms here for you. Okay, we had a couple just immediately fly out when I started shuffling. So I'm going to drop both of those. This one still just keeps rolling off, so I'm going to take that one off, and we'll just take that one here first. So let's zoom in and have a little look. So the ones that showed up for you, the one that fell, this one fell all the way down by my foot actually, and it's next to Shoot for the Stars, which is a closure charm, right? Because it's a button, so it makes me think of something that can both open and close something. In this case, it's the opening closure, right? So it represents finding closure with someone, maybe from that separation, closing off something for a fresh new start. So that's showing up here. You also have the maple leaf charm showing up. So this could be related to some of the people who are more in the southern hemisphere or in like Canada or something. Definitely feel free to take these as literally or more more intuitively if you'd like. You also have the 4-leaf clover, which I personally see as a spring flower. So this definitely feels like it relates to both when it comes to that wheel of the year, and that maybe this is something that you feel like you revisit, this idea of separation happening every spring or fall season. You also have here the charming iguana. So the iguana that you might be separating from or getting separation from is maybe a Libra in your life, someone in their sun, moon, or rising, or an air sign in general, but that's showing up here with Libra. And then here with you have the forward momentum charm happening next to laughter is the best medicine, and that rainbow of peppermint and reset. And in this case, this is forward movement in chess. So whenever I see this is making me think that, again, you need that separation, you need that time off, you need that closure, or you need that, even maybe, again, where it comes to that study and learn feeling where you're maybe taking a step back from your expertise to grow again, and kind of refine your skills. That's after all of that happens, that's when things are going to feel like they're moving again, and you get that refresh, that reset that you need. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards that I have here for you, Group 3. I do hope that this has been useful to you, and if it was, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below, especially for this one, since I'd love to see if this is a kind of reading you'd like me to bring back around the fall, or ones that I should bring back seasonally. I'd love to hear what you think, and if you like when I take more time with the guidebooks and things like that, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Feedback goes a long way, so I really appreciate it. And if you are interested in pick-a-card readings, as well as sprinkled in art magic and some educational videos on charm casting, then definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday that I think you'd really enjoy. And if you want to support the channel, I also do snail mail readings where I send a letter to you in the mail through snail mail, and I typewrite it on a vintage typewriter. It's usually 3 to sometimes 4 pages long, fully written out, all about any question or query that's on your mind. I really consider your questions, really consider the context of your situation to best understand and give you the best reading possible. So if you want to look into those, they are down below for information, as well as on my Instagram, and there are lots of helpful reviews over there that you can check out as well, and other offerings to see as well too. So with that all said, thank you so much for hanging out here with me today here, Group 3, and I hope to see you in the next one.